Welcome to Lyndley Trends, and this week we are going to chat about Fall 2014 Couture that just happened in Paris. And I just want to go over some of my favorite shows that happened, and we won't go over everything, but just kind of the best ones. So moving into that, I am completely obsessed with Chanel, as per always. I think Karl Lagerfeld is a fashion god and probably a vampire because he's 105 years old and still somehow making relevant fashion. And this season's couture was no exception for Mr. Lagerfeld, kind of doing cool young things with a lot of old lady clothes. So, you have the hair and kind of the undercut vibe with the big poof in the front. You've got the cool, little hats hanging off the back of their heads. You've got Bermuda shorts, which I'm obsessed with because everything looks better with a Bermuda short underneath it. So basically, just inside of the hair and the Bermuda shorts and the flat flip-flops / thigh-high boots, Karl Lagerfeld validated everything that I feel very strongly about right now in my own personal fashion wardrobe, which is awesome. And, he totally killed it. Everything was dipped in silicone. There were concrete beads. His whole concept was this old, amazing Baroque architecture, architect's apartment goes brutalist architecture. So mixing kind of modernist and brutalist, which is all concrete and weird kind of technical and super synthetic materials with the concept of Baroque, giving us minimalist Baroque, which is completely oxymoronic, which is what Karl Lagerfeld does, and it was beautiful. So he killed it. The clothes were also beautiful, gorgeous grays, gorgeous whites, gorgeous golds, gorgeous oranges and maroons and reds, and of course incredible flip-flops that were only a Chanel couture show could have, and amazing flat boots. And then of course his bride was Ashley Good, who was 7 months pregnant. Always love a crazy knocked up model on the runway closing the show as a bride. Always love a shotgun bride. So leave it to Karl Lagerfeld to bring some pizzazz to the stereotypical runway bride situation. My next show that I was impressed by and interested by was Christian Dior by Raf Simons. So Raf's collections for Christian Dior haven't really been my favorite. I feel like what he did at Jill Sander was 1,000 times better. But this Dior collection, it's starting to look, this Dior couture is starting to look like Mr. Simon Simmons is on the up and up. So I heard Olivier Rizzo is now full-time in the House of Dior. This is going to be amazing for Raf. They're a long-time conspirators who will, I think, work really well together and bring some modern chicness to Dior that's been missing. It's been a bit all over the place, and this couture collection was no different. It started out with these incredible, cool, kind of Victorian, bustly dresses, but totally modernist. Again, kind of a kickback to what Karl did at Chanel, where you have this very kind of ornate reference, but done in a super minimal way. Then, he goes into some super awesome technical 90s style jumpsuits for some reason. Then you get a whole bunch of floor length, beautiful fur coats, which I love, but thought was totally rando in the mix. And then you kind of end with some T-bar, famous Dior, dress silhouettes, but done again in super modern, where you see the crinolines and you see synthetic boning in the dress, which I thought were cool. I mean, this is the best Dior collection so far, in my opinion, so things are looking on the up and up in the House of Dior. I loved it. I thought it was one of the better couture collections of the season. I also surprisingly liked Giambattista Valli. I've never been a Giambattista Valli fan. I feel like he does the same thing every season. It's always a ton of flowers and stuff that are pretty, but not necessarily my thing. But this season, he brought some amazing furs to the table. I love the weird purple fur, look like goat. I love the Cruella de Vil fur that he did with a very over-the-top black dress underneath. I love the white shirt dress with the big, huge skirt on it. I loved all of the stuff at the end, the big frou-frou feathery dresses, which I'm not usually into that, but it kind of looks like a girl took her pajama shirt and put it with her huge ball gown skirt from the night before. And of course, everybody's talking about the goddamn headscarves, which I think look cool. I like headscarves in more of a Tupac way, but this was more of a hey, I wrapped some random fabric around my head and it looks really chic and I didn't want to wash my hair kind of moment. But I think it's really cool. Giambattista Valli, first time I've actually really loved your collection, especially your couture. keep it rolling. Whatever you're doing, it's working. Also, totally loving Versace. Donatella has come back to Couture a couple seasons ago. Loving her and her Atelier Versace as always. She brings a little sexiness to the Couture. Sometimes too much sexiness, but this one had a nice vibe. I like the weird splitsy asymmetric vibes going on with her huge bondage 1950s, but gone to an S&M kind of dungeon. Love the asymmetric huge ball gowns with the, like the crazy couture corsets underneath, and then like a one-legged legging for some reason, but I don't know, for whatever reason it worked. I freaking loved it. The look on Caddy Nasher at the end was amazing. The look on Stella Tennant at the end was amazing. And I also love the random fringe moments. She had a white fringe glove with matching dress and one-legged moment that I really loved, that was like a total Can't Buy Me Love reference in my own head. And then there was like a navy blue sparkly fringy coat that I was obsessed with too. So 2 thumbs up for bringing some sexiness to the couture. Thank you, Donatella. In a world of modernism and men, thank God there's a sexy woman, or at least a woman trying to bring the sexiness to our world. Then I have on my list Margiela. So the House of Margiela, I feel like they've been struggling since Mr. Margiela, retired a while back. I mean, they just kind of rehash all the same stuff. This season may be no different. And I'm also kind of getting over those face scarf things. Like, Kanye West kind of wore it out for me a little bit when he toured that way. But hey, you know what? Margiela's been doing that crap for 30 years. One little Kanye West reference isn't going to ruin the entire thing for me. But they kind of did their idea of taking the whole history of couture and the history of art and put it all into one collection. I really like the kind of randomness of it. It felt a little bit like a flea market or a junk shop had been turned into couture gowns. Always a cool concept. I love the couture little corsety dress with the gold polka dot skirt around the bottom. I love the crazy kind of super weird bits at the end, like all asymmetric, and then you got like a big fur throw on the corner of their shoulder. Just kind of like, there's one that said, I love you, across a little bit of surrealism, a little bit of Dadaism, a little bit of a lot of isms, a lot of Margiela-isms kind of thrown into one junk shop heap. And I don't know, I always like that. Mix it up. You always want someone out there playing with somebody. And Margiela is the only crew that brings some interesting weirdness to couture. And then, my final kind of couture moment, my runners-up, honorable mention will go to Marco Zanini, who's doing Schiaparella. I love, Schiaparelli, Elsa Schiaparelli. So Marco, I've known since he was an assistant at Versace. I love Marco. I think he's flamboyant and fun, and this collection was different. He fully went for the campiness of Schiaparelli. It was very 1940s, very the women, very 1930s, 40s, very Schiaparelli. You have the big pink, long dressing gown kind of dress that has the big ES on it. You have the amazing outfit that opened with the huge fur sleeves and the leopard, and you have the crazy hats by Stephen Jones. And there were some good moments. I still feel like it's a little costumey, and I'm hoping that Marco Zanini can come out on the other side of this, having kind of exorcised the demon of Schiaparelli, if you will, this season, and kind of, I don't know, move it somewhere else. Nobody wants rehash Schiaparelli. Nobody wants rehash anything. And in my opinion, I don't even think houses like this necessarily should be opened. I'd rather Marco be doing his own thing and making something new. So I hope that he can take Schiaparelli through the Schiaparelli reference period, and into something of his own. So that's my couture roundup. You guys have an awesome fashion-y week, and I will see you on the next episode of Lyndley Trends. I'm Sally Lyndley, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Check you later. Bye.